Alright, finally. I'm playing this deck again. I have not seriously played MARINCESS since I top 8'd like the first MCS months ago, back when Toad was still legal. I've just been waiting and waiting until this card got released to play this deck again. This card gives MARINCESS something it was desperately missing for like its entire existence, and that is a board wipe. So in case anybody still doesn't know by now, Atlantis is something you make with well, you can make with any. It's a generic link 4, except you can make it with one monster, which means you can use a single link 4 to make it. Which often you be making it with this. And then when in summon, or not when in summon, you can banish every single monster on the field, and then special them back. And what's the good thing about using this is in MARINCESS is, so there's a few cards: Blue Slug, Coral Triangle, Coral Anemone. Using any of these cards' effects waterlocks you, so you cannot special summon any monsters except waters for the rest of the turn. The Atlantis' wording states that you are the one special summoning the monsters back to the field because you choose where to summon them and what position they come in. So if you cannot special summon water monsters, or special summon anything with water monsters, that means everything that's not a water monster is banished permanently, and you get all your MARINCESS water monsters back. So this is a one-sided banish board clear permanent, one of the strongest board clear types in the game, and it's really, MARINCESS was missing that because MARINCESS struggles playing into an established board and clearing monsters, especially if they get rid of your battle ocean. Then you don't even have the attack points to run over a lot of stuff. But this, being able to go to a link 4 just clears the entire field permanently. So that's honestly, like, you'll see in the replays I have for you, this card comes up so much, and it even can give you OTK plays, which is like, this deck could literally physically, like, it was incapable of making OTK plays. It was the one Cybers deck that doesn't have access to, access code and update jammer. So there's no easy OTK line, and that made it also kind of trash in the max seed, because if you get max seed, you can't just kill them that turn. You have to, like, you can't establish the board because then they just draw their whole turn, then they get another turn. It's all bad. So yeah, this card just really does so much for a deck. And for the main deck, there's not really much to explain. I'm running, I'm running the anti-tier sweep of hand traps, 18 hand traps. We have the anti-maxi package, and then it's just for engine. We have 3 Blue Tang, 3 Pascalis, 3 Sprinkler. It's pretty standard. Or 3 Seahorse, the standard 4. I'm running 3 Siamite because, I really just want to get the best. I want to get the best MARINCESS monster starters. 1 Mandarin for extension. Now that we're not focusing as much on a rank 4 since Toad is banned, having an extra body that even if it's not a level 4 is fine. And Sleeping Maiden just lets you end on. It lets you give Argonaut a material equip, so that it has a spell trap negate even if you don't have access to the Battle Ocean, and it's an extender if you have something else. But this is the only MARINCESS monster that's not a 1 card and on a link 4 by itself. You draw any single MARINCESS monster, you at the very minimum end on a link 4, and if you draw any combination of these two of these cards, like, every one is like an extender pretty much, so you can go from there. And 2 dive and 1 battle ocean, because you end up searching these during the middle of your combo, so you don't actually need to draw them that much, and they're not actual starters by themselves, so they're kind of cloggy. So yeah, this is about 16 starters and 18 hand traps in a 4-2 card deck. So it's pretty consistent too, and you need to open 2 hand traps this format to play against tier. Extra deck is standard, 2 blue slug, 2 sea angel, coral anemone, 2 coral anemone. The filler slot is crystal heart. You can go into, if you have a hand with a lot of extenders, you can make an unaffected Argonaut with this and Battle Ocean. So it's like a high roll card, but it's, you know, you can come up sometimes. Splash Mage, Marble Rock, Core Triangle. The 2 link 3's Core Triangle adds this best card in your deck. The 2 link 4's, and well, Bubble Reef. It's a effect where you can send a water monster to special summon a banished monster. Comes up a lot now because of Zealantis, because now you can special summon a monster back, and then after Zealantis board wipes, you can special summon an extra monster back post wipe. And this is Argonaut, the other staple link 4, and of course Zealantis. Dragon is another filler slot. And since Toad is banned, we have like 2 flex spots in Master Duel. And Abyss Dweller. So here's something. Now you might think that this is a water deck with a bunch of level 4 extenders. So this must be a Dweller deck, right? Well, not necessarily. It actually, in terms of like Cybers decks, MARINCESS isn't even the Cybers deck that makes Dweller the most. That would actually be Salamangreat. The Salamangreat's plays end up revolving a link 4 much more. Because in order to end on Abyss Dweller in this deck, like, you either need to give up making a link 4, which is, you know, you kind of want to end on these, you know, this is like the main boss monsters, and they provide follow-up, and they're like, if you get hand trapped, you know, this is often your fallback play is to end on one of these still. In order to make Dweller plus a link 4, you would need access to Battle Ocean, you need to be able to make Argonaut, and you need 2 extra extenders that are specific level 4. Like, it's a very specific hand. It's like a 3.5 card combo, I would say, to end on both Dweller and Link 4. And that assumes like you don't get disrupted at all. So like you don't actually end up making Dweller turn 1 a lot unless you are like on the read. Like, you know for sure your opponent's on tier, or if they're on like a 60 card deck, you know it's safe to say they're probably using the graveyard, then you can potentially give up going into a link 4 to end on Dweller. But still, even then, right, because these are the 2 cards that are on only disruption, but they give you follow-up, and Dweller is kind of like an all-in play. So yeah, I mean it does still come up. Like if there's, for example, your opponent reveals Halfness and you ash them, then yeah, go for the Dweller, but just know you're not turboing to Dweller as you might expect just by glancing at this deck. So I got a few replays now of my climb during the Duelist Cup that I'll show you how this deck plays now with Zealantis. Alright, so this is a game where we're going first. We normal summon Pascalas, and we get Max Seed. And unfortunately, this is the Cybers deck. This deck actually gets hurt by Max Seed, unlike Tier, so yeah. And now I'm gonna dump Spring Girl, and I'm just gonna add you make Sea Angel right now to get follow up for next turn. Blue Tang is gonna hopefully try to excavate me a MARINCESS monster that I can use for next turn, and then Sea Angel will get me the dive, and hopefully 3 monster negates is gonna be enough into 7 cards. Opponent Heartbeats targets the Imperm, unfortunate, dumps the Sulliek, and uses the Sulliek to search Rhino. So their hand isn't spectacular if they're searching Rhino. And now we're just gonna negate the Rhino with MARINCESS Wave because I need a Link monster in order to resolve MARINCESS Wave, and they can just simply run over Sea Angel if I let it go, so use it now or lose it. Now they Foolish Burial the Halfness to make a Kit Kalos with the Rhino on field. And fortunately we have a Veiler too. We have just enough non-engine to like stop their plays. Now they're gonna enter battle phase, attack over Pascalas, and this is the turn. Sleepy Maiden special. If that's a Sulliek, I lose. So we just have to play into it, you know, calling the core enemy, target blue tank, and it's an Infirm, which is fantastic, because Infirm does nothing against this hand. Especially the place where Infirmed. Because we already have the diving hand that we searched from last turn, so you can bring back the blue tang, and blue tang's gonna dump Mandarin. Blue tang is then gonna make into blue slug, and blue slug is gonna add back Spring Girl, and then blue tang is gonna hopefully get us another Excavate. And you know, unfortunately, Cyan Mining is not a MARINCESS card, but it's okay. Now we normal summon the Spring Girl, go into Marble Rock. And Marble Rock, core enemy is gonna add back the Spring Girl. Again, since we normal summoned it, we didn't use the effect yet, so we can still special summon it. And this card too, Mandarin special summon itself. Marble Rock, add a blue tang from grave to hand. That's gonna be important later. You go into Bubble Reef, and this is very important. When you're going for the Zelantis line, when we're doing, you want to hold off using Spring Girls. Sorry, my voice, I'm feeling a bit under the weather. You want to hold off Spring Girl special summon until the absolute latest, because you want to banish as high of a link rating of a monster as you can from Graveyard. Since we were able to make Bubble Reef without using Spring Girl, now we can banish the Marble Rock with Spring Girl, and then we can, after going to Sea Angel to add Battle Ocean, now we can revive the Link 3 that we just banished off Spring Girl with Marble Rock, and now we go into Zealandis, clear their Kit Kalos, and we get everything back, and they don't get their Kit Kalos back since we're waterlocked. And play Ocean, and this is just game. Now we make Argonaut and equip 3 from the grave. Pascal also add back Wave for, you know, because why not? And attack directly. So yeah, MARINCESS could always just spam the board with extenders and water monsters and stuff, but it didn't really have a payoff to do that into an established board before. Like, it's not like we could go into Axis Code and stuff, so, but now that you can put those monsters into something like a Zealandis that actually does something, it's like huge for the deck. So, next replay, we're going second again. We open double hand traps versus our opponents on Branded Tier, nice brick. Now, I do misplay. You might think this hand's unbeatable, right? Triple hand trap plus 3 engine cards. That we go Blue Tang into Blue Slug to add back the Spring Girl, and then Blue Tang reveal, and we reveal a Mandarin. So like, we just have absolutely everything, right? Spring Girl will banish Blue Tang, special summon that they're gonna Maxi, and we're gonna Ash that. Maxi was never resolving. Sea Angel, add Dive, Chain Block, even though I doubt they have Ash. Going to Core Enemy. Core Enemy, special summon the Spring Girl back. Because we have Battle Rush in the field, Princess Dive is now an E-Telly, so we special Pascalis from the deck, and Pascalis special summons Mandarin. Go into Coral Triangle, and then we will add back Mandarin. And now we use Triangle Effect, and this is a misplay, because I already had game on board if I summoned Seahorse, basically. I didn't need to search the dive. But because I searched dive, that triggers Kelbeck. And Kelbeck is the single most impactful hand trap against MARINCESS. Like, besides Maxi, like F Valor, F Imperm, Ash, Crow, none of that shit does like barely does anything to MARINCESS. You can still end on a decent board. Like, Kelbeck on the Coral Triangle just absolutely ruins your day. Like literally, I just lost 3 link materials for no reason. Now I'm gonna have to go deviate into a Crystal Heart line, equip it with 3 equips from the grave, special Seahorse so I can special summon the Mandarin, enter battle phase to get some damage in, I thought. But no, we're actually just gonna get even lead. So again, I should have played more safe. And now I don't. This is another misplay. I should have set the Marince's wave. Like I control. Like this is just a monster negate. Like I can't use this with. Like I don't know what I was thinking. Like I'm just being dumb. And they of course go into Branded top deck their starter. And I'm just gonna maxi that because I'm praying right now. They special summon for some reason. Dumb Sulliek. Sulliek add Halfness, nice. I'm thinking I'm dead. And instead of adding Branded Fusion, they add Banishment. Huh? It's not even live. Anyway, they're gonna set 2 normal Halfness and run over Crystal Heart. Nice. They really did not want to play into Max C, now respecting what Marincess can do. Well, this is what happens when you disrespect Marincess, okay? Normal summon, you're gonna normal summon Blue Tank. Get Sulliek. Okay. Send Hadness, joke's on you, I have the DD Crow. You were never resolving any effects against me either. And now this is the... You can notice how many extenders we have. So Blue Slug will add us back. We get a Seahorse off of Blue Tank, and we get the Pascalis off the Blue Slug. And Angel add us Marince's dive. We go into Core Enemy. That's a banishment set. It's doing absolutely nothing right now. Core Enemy, bring back Crystal Heart. We go into Bubble Reef. And now check this out. So then we add back Blue Tank, Spring Girl, banish an enemy, Great Bubble Reef, discard Pascalis, special summon the Core Enemy, and then we'll Marince's dive, bring back the Pascalis, and then the Pascalis effect will special summon the Blue Tank from our hand. And now you know what's coming up next. Zealantis. Get that Alibur out of here. You're not resolving your banishment. And we summon back 5 monsters into a clear board, and this is game. Oh yeah, all my homies hate Kelbeck. Oh, this is finally a game where we get to go first. And I'm gonna fire out the Sign of Mining right now to add NBT. It says Pascalis plus NBT is the best starting combo you can get. It gets you almost everything you want just by itself. So you're gonna make Blue Tank with the NBT, and there's no response window, so I'm not afraid of Ash. Try to excavate something, and we get another Pascalis, which is, you know, not very useful, but it's a free card, so I'm not gonna complain. Get back this Sleeping Maiden, special the Sleeping Maiden, and go into Core Enemy. We'll then revive the Blue Tank again. Go into Sea Angel, get our copy of Dive. And here's what I meant about like Dweller, right? So Core Enemy, get back the Blue Tang. Then Core Triangle, ditch the Pascalis to get the wave. And we're gonna Marince's dive. Bring back a Pascalis. All 3 Pascalis in rotation, by the way. So we go into Dweller. So even with the God Hand, right? Pascalis plus NBT, and searching Marince's dive instead of the Battle Ocean for an extra extender, we are still 1 extender short from being able to make a Link 4 with this Dweller. So like I said, the end on Dweller, like you have to go Pascalis plus Blue Tank, which is already the best 2-card combo. You have to hit off and then you have to hit off the Pascalis Excavate for a real extender in order to end on more than this board. Now the reason I went to Dweller here is because I saw my opponent was on 60 cards. So I know for sure that Dweller is going to do something against them. And at least the very least, Dweller boosts my water monster attack by 500. So Coral Triangle isn't going to be at 15, it's going to be at 2k. So that's a little harder to run over. Like they can't just summon Rhinoheart to crash, or like summon Sharon and crash, you know. And I used the Sleeve Maiden Grave to banish itself to attach Coral Enemy to Coral Triangle. It doesn't like do anything on the field, it just gets Coral Enemy back on the field, so that if they do anything to my Coral Triangle, I'll get a follow-up and like add something back to my grave. So yeah. We do have 3 Imperms plus Dweller, so I feel like this is okay. It's an okay setup. Opponent's plays Despia, plays Sea Mare. Okay, so they're a branded tier. Dumps King of the Swamp because they don't have any graveyard effects. And they're gonna use the Despia Feeder into Chimera. And unfortunately for them, because there's no poly, I can target the Chimera and I can just wave that and negate it. So next they're gonna enter battle phase and they're just gonna attack with the Dweller and pass their turn. And this is where we kill them again. Normal NBT, dump Mandarin, we get Kelbecked again. Does not even matter right now because you'll see all the follow-up MARINCESS gets. You can 100% kill your opponent on turn 3 at all times, as long as you resolve your turn 1 combo. So everything in your grave is already set up. So, an enemy dies that was attached to the Coral Triangle, which adds us back to our MARINCESS dive. Then we go into Sea Angel, try to excavate off NBT, and we get a Spring Girl. And then we add Battle Ocean to hand. Activate Battle Ocean, activate Dive as an E-Tele, you get another Spring Girl from deck. Going to the second core enemy. And I'm just gonna attach, because it's always, if you have time, it's always safe to attach to off the field spell for free. Next, I'm gonna summon a bunch of water monsters. You know, we're just summoning water monsters going to Marbled Rock. Pascala's add back MARINCESS Wave, because why not? And Mandarin, now that we control 2 MARINCESS monsters, we can special summon itself. And Marble Rock will add back Blue Tank for later. So to go into Bubble Reef. Special Spring Girl by banishing Marbled Rock. And then Bubble Reef, discard the Blue Tank we added back. To summon back the Marbled Rock. And you know what's next? It's the Atlantis, wipe their entire field. And we get everything back. And this is enough for game. But yeah, I hope those duels gave you a good idea about what Zealantis adds to the deck. As in, like, a deck that has plenty of extenders, but before didn't really have a lot to do with them, didn't really have a good payoff going second, now has one of the best payoffs in the game. And the funny thing, I never showed off this effect because it was not necessary, but Zealantis actually, after you summon back Zealantis, when you summon it back with all your monsters, you summon back, let's say, a core enemy and you co-link the two. Zealantis during the battle phase can destroy cards on the field, non-targeting up to the number of co-link monsters on the field. So Zealantis wipes out all their monsters permanently, like banished, gone. And then you enter battle phase, you don't even have to attack first. You can destroy whatever remaining spell and traps they have, if necessary. Like if they still have stuff left over, which they against the Tearlament players, there wasn't really anything good to pop after wiping their field already. But yeah, Zealantis is essentially a full board clear when resolved. And for specifically MARINCESS and other water decks that lock themselves, but most water decks like Goatee and like Sharks, they don't really do link something. So this is like pretty much like only a MARINCESS monster. Like this might as well be called MARINCESS World Sea Dragon Zealantis. And this isn't going to be the last time I touch this deck. Well, I'm going to be playing this deck a bit more, even maybe not during the actual World Championship qualifiers, but you'll see this deck again on my channel.